The Sharks lose another game, but the magic number is now 4.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite lovable losers in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day, even when, again, 4 points is the magic number. Even when Henry Thrun, there might be something there now. Even when the prospect pool continues to do prospect pool things. So if you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And like I said, today we're going to be talking about the San Jose Sharks 5-2, loss to the Arizona Coyotes. How Henry Thrun, I think, is turning a corner here at the end of the season. Dig into the numbers of this game, and then we'll check in on the CHL prospects. So that's Quentin Musty, Kasper Halttunen, and Luca Cagnoni, and see, since they've all finished up their first series, kind of review their first series and what to expect for round 2. So before we get into all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. And we're down to the final 5 games, and the Sharks' magic number is 4. So basically, if the Sharks lose 2, some combination of the Sharks losing 2 out of these final 4, or the Blackhawks, or final 5, or the Blackhawks win 2 out of their final 5 games, the Sharks will lock up the odds to have the best odds at the draft lottery. So again, that doesn't mean they'll guarantees them to win celebrating, but it gives them the best odds going into the draft. And the worst case scenario is you drop to 3. If again, absolute worst case scenario. So if the Sharks lose 2 out of their final 5, or again, if the Blackhawks gain 4 points in any form here at the end, that is your path to victory here. So as the Sharks continue, and Sharks schedule is really easy here going forward, but we've gone this far. I think they're going to do it. You basically need to lose 2 out of the last 5 in the way this team has played this year. I don't see how they will not lose at least 2 out of the last 5 here, especially when you play Edmonton, who's going to be looking to lock things up. I know everybody else they play are basically out of the playoffs, but we're getting there. We're coming in for the landing here. So, but I think the big story out of today's game was the play of Henry Thrun, who has had a very up and down season, and has, as a true rookie this year, has kind of gotten his butt kicked at times. That's expected to happen with defensemen, right? It's such a hard position to learn. You can't really shelter forwards. You can kind of shelter them a little bit more, right? Putting them with strong players, giving them offensive zone starts, et cetera, et cetera. Defensemen, it's a much harder to shelter them, and especially on this team where the Sharks continue to just kind of be outplayed night in, night out. Thrun and all the other defensemen have had a really tough season, but I think though you can kind of see things are starting to kind of slow down for Thrun. I think things are starting to kind of come together for Henry Thrun, as he had a goal and an assist in today's game. Both of them great plays. Goal on the power play where he, is kind of running the power play, gets promoted from the second unit to the first unit, especially with Calen Addison. Last game where Calen Addison got kicked out and Thrun kind of took his spot at the top, and then hasn't let go of it because the Sharks power play has been so efficient recently. Again, Calen Addison getting kicked out today's game, which is another weird thing, but Thrun continues to run the power play pretty efficiently. Wasn't as good as yesterday, as the power play today went 1 for 6, but still we've seen this power play be the Sharks' main source of points recently, and seeing Henry Thrun be a big contributor to that, I think it bodes well for him. And then on his assist today, where he does a great job of kind of reading the play, crashing in, kind of scoops up a loose puck, and then finds Luca Cagnoni, who's able to slam it home from up close. Again, just knowing, kind of learning those intricacies of okay, now's when time to pinch, now's when time to kind of lay back, that type of stuff that just comes with the reps, especially at the NHL level. And Thrun was a really good power play quarterback at Harvard. At Harvard, his senior year, Harvard had the 8th best power play in the country, if I recall correctly. If not, it was definitely top 10. But the power play with Harvard when he was there was, again, one of the best in the country. And I know going from NCAA to NHL, it's very hard, right? And you see players struggle with that, but those skills and traits are still there, and it's just kind of fine tuning them and getting them ready for playing against professionals. And I think, again, it has been a tough season for all the defensemen. And when we do our year-end review of basically every player, all the numbers are going to look really depressing, again, because this team is one of the worst teams in recent history and has given up a bajillion goals and has one of the worst goal differentials, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, the numbers are going to be really bad. But I think, though, this is just kind of one of those, you get your teeth kicked in for a season, but you learned a lot about kind of yourself and how to kind of play. And, especially in a very low pressure, there is no pressure on the Sharks other than to continue to lose, but kind of learning those, getting your teeth kicked in, and then seeing what happens after you kind of pick yourself up off the mat and kind of start to put things together. And I think Thrun is in the pick himself up off the mat right now and putting his game together, which is a big development for the Sharks going forward. Because I think we and Mike Greer and everybody expects Henry Thrun to be, a good piece for the Sharks going forward. And, he will need a new contract this off season. So he will need a new contract. Plenty of time to discuss what that'll look like. It'll probably won't be very expensive, but he's definitely earned it. And I think, again, a guy like Henry Thrun, who's 23, and I think has shown enough flashes to be a long-term piece. And again, you're just starting to kind of see in a game like today, you're starting to kind of see those pieces that make him so intriguing, where things are kind of coming together for him. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a really nice finish from Thrun here the last kind of 5 games. Again, I don't expect Thrun to be a point per, Erik Karlsson 2.0 or just putting up a ton of points. But I think we're going to see him continue to kind of chip in more offensively, which the Sharks desperately need more help along the blue line, especially with Erik Karlsson not here anymore. Trying to find, I know it's very much a by committee approach from San Jose, but will be nice to see some of these guys kind of step up, and even in meaningless games with the last 5 games here. Can you put on some good tape and kind of feel good about what you're doing heading into the off season? And then kind of, again, are you an answer or are you a question going into the off season, as we've kind of bringing that back and I think Thrun, who is definitely an answer, but again, we want to see some more of this sustained offense, some more of him kind of making the most of these opportunities going forward. So, but yeah, I mean, it was very much we'll dig into the numbers here. Very much a Sharks kind of normal performance of kind of hanging in there for a little while, and then the other team kind of just puts the foot down, and that's definitely what happened in the third period here. So we'll discuss kind of where things went wrong for the Sharks, look at how all the power plays in the first 2 periods and none in the third period, and why, again, I think the Sharks are at their best when they're on the power play. So we'll kind of dig into the numbers behind this game, look at Colin Graff and his play. So all that here in just 1 second. I know this season has been brutal for Sharks fans, but regardless of their current standings, I want to remind you that you could still win big by playing Daily Fantasy Hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick some of your favorite players, whether they're NHL superstars like McDavid, Crosby, or McKinnon, or some of your favorite Sharks like Granlund, Zetterlund, or Eklund, and record more or less in their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win a 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player sets. You heard me, Sharks fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. All right, let's dig into the numbers of this game. Again, so many power plays. As the Sharks, who couldn't draw a power play to save their life all season long, now have gotten 12 power plays opportunities in the last 2 games combined. If you missed our Blues talk, we did a really fun Saturday night. Go check out that one if you want to hear about Eklund and his hat trick. But Sharks in this game, definitely took advantage, I think, of their power play opportunities early. And then in the third period, when there was no power plays, the Coyotes just kind of took advantage and put their foot on the gas and eventually pulled away and won this game. So we had 41-35 of 5v5. So again, a lot of power plays in this game. Shot attempts were 37-36 in favor of the Sharks, 50.68 to 49.32%. Actual shots was 19-18. This is again all 5v5. 18-14 scoring chances in favor of the Coyotes, 5-5 high danger chances, 1.35 to 1.1 expected goals for in favor of the Sharks. But third period, I think, is really kind of where the Coyotes again really took advantage. 16-10 shot attempts, at 5v5, so not including the last 4 minutes or so where there was empty net, all that before the Coyotes kind of finished, scored the empty netter. They again they had a lead, right? They kind of earned their lead, made it get 3-2. Then they were able to continue, instead of the Sharks kind of pushing back and trying to tie things up. The Coyotes are the ones who took advantage there. They're 7-3 scoring chances in the third period, 3-1 high danger chances, 0.6 to 0.22 expected goals for in favor of the Coyotes in the third period. It's like they were the ones to push the pace in the third period. And I think that's why they won, especially the second period. It was all Sharks in the second period, 0.83 to 0.15 expected goals for. And yes, I know the Sharks had multiple power plays in that time, but still, the Sharks kind of took advantage of those power plays, kept playing good offense, and kept earning more power plays opportunities, right? That's what good teams do. They keep the puck in the offensive zone, and that's where you're going to earn the most power plays or opportunities, and then try to take advantage of those. So it's not rocket science. Go play in the other team's zone, make them have to defend for long periods of time. You're going to get power plays, take advantage of those power plays. But I think though that third period, when it was the refs kind of put away the whistles, let things go, and the Coyotes, again, the Sharks just are not a strong enough 5v5 team right now to play with anybody. And the Coyotes have shown that they can score in bunches. They scored 3 times in the third, and that's the difference right there, is that third period where the Sharks just didn't have that extra gear, especially on the second night of a back-to-back. The Coyotes, I know they played on Friday night, had a huge comeback win, but very emotional win for the Sharks on Saturday, and I just don't think I think they ran out of gas, to be honest. So looking at the lines, So we had the Lund line put together. So Eklund, Granlund, Zetterlund, they played 9-0-4, 6-9 shot attempts. Actual shots was 3-5. Did give up a goal. 0.31 to 0.2 expected goals for. So that was actually the best offensive line for the Sharks, as we expected. The Borlo, Studnicka, Zadina line played 534, 1-6 shot attempts. Actual shots is 1-3. Also gave up a goal. 0.02 to 0.28 expected goals. Grafcon and Bailey played 501 together. It was interesting. Granlund played a lot on the second line as well too. Granlund was getting a lot. He played 25 minutes in this game after playing like 25 minutes the game before. The poor man, I'm sure he's going to be feeling it on Monday. But Grafcon and Bailey played 501, 3 shot attempts for, 2 against. Actual shots was 1, 0.08 to 0.04. Graf, again, I liked his game. It's very subtle, right? Nothing that kind of blows you away, but I think he's kind of, there's something there. And I think once he gets through the like deer in the headlight phase, where, you know, he's like, I'm playing in the NHL and things kind of slow down for him a little bit. And I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but there's something there with Graf. And I think the Sharks, you can see the way he kind of thinks the game. Really subtle plays. He made some really nice passes today. Really nice pass to kind of set up a chance for cut-in earlier, like in the game. His reaction time, though, I think sometimes it's like a step too slow. Sometimes you can see that watching his college tape too. But I think that'll, as he continues to get used to the NHL speed, I think that'll kind of clean itself up here a little bit. Or that's what you hope for. But again, and congratulations to him getting his first career NHL point today, as he got an assist on the Cunnin goal. So, and then the other guys, so we had McDonald, Carpenter, and then who was the last one there? Anyway, the last line there, and Sturm, sorry, excuse me. So Koshinen was out with an illness, so that's why Carpenter kind of slid in. Those guys, Corsi wise, McDonald had a pretty solid game with 751. He had 10-6 shot attempts, 62%. Carpenter and 828, 9-7 shot attempts, 56.25%. And then Sturm, 913, 10-9 shot attempts, 52.63%. So the kind of veteran line and the fourth line, pretty solid day there as well. So as for Mackenzie Blackwood, don't think this was his best game, especially coming off. I think he had a really strong week last week. Definitely don't think his best game. So he made 22 saves on 26 shots, 4 goals allowed. Expected goals against was 2. So probably, you know, some of the math there. Some of them were tough. Were tough saves there, especially that last one, or that one by Gunther, where it was like the little, no, was it Gunther? I guess I could look this up right here now. Sorry, the Clayton Keller one with the drop pass from Schmaltz, like the between the legs drop pass from Schmaltz. That was just nasty. I don't care who you are. That is a tough save to make. But as for Blackwood, 2 for 4 on high dangers shots, 8 for 9 on mid danger, and then 11 for 12 on the low danger. So again, not the kind of performance that we've seen from Blackwood as of late. And you're not going to, you know, get shutouts and post, 3-point something, saves above expected, all that fun stuff. So that we've kind of seen out of him recently. But so the Sharks third period kind of got away from them. You know, they've been 12 power play opportunities over the last 2 games has kind of been their bread and butter. And, you know, they've scored 3 goals on those 12 power play opportunities. So not a math guy, but that's 25%. And I think it'll be a fun offseason topic to talk about, but I think there's a lot of hope that this power play next year, there's some hope for the special teams to really kind of take a nice bounce next year and go from bottom third to, I think, especially the power play, I think can be an above average power play. And then for the penalty kill, going from a bottom third to like an average penalty kill unit next year. So plenty of fun time. Well, plenty of time to talk about that later on. But so yeah, I think we're down to, again, 5 more games. They play on Tuesday, excuse me, where it is the Flames, right? Yep, the Flames on Tuesday. Then they go to at Seattle. They play their last home game on Saturday. Then 2 games up in Edmonton and Calgary to end the season. So we're getting close to finishing this bad boy off. So we're going to finish this podcast off here in a minute. We're going to talk about Musty, Cagnoni, and Halttunen. So yeah, be right back. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and leveled up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With the eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right. Let's check in on our beloved prospects. So all 3, Luca Cagnoni, Quentin Musty, and Kasper Halttunen, all moving on to the second round. Quentin Musty and the Sudbury Wolves played the longest series of 5 games. The other 2 were sweeps. And I thought the Sudbury had a chance to go 7 just because of that 4-5 matchup. But all 3 of their teams kind of made quick work of their opponents. So let's start. We'll start going west and move. We'll start in the WHL with Luca Cagnoni. And he put up a ridiculous series. 4 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points, and he didn't even score a point, I think, in the last game. He was held off the score sheet there. Yeah. He's so good. ELC win? ? And even like if his goals, one of them was on the power play goal. So 2 of his goals were at even strength. He had 12 shots on goal. 2 of his goals were also game winning, 1.75 points per game. And the Winterhawks are really good. So they're going to continue. So Friday night, April 12th is when they will start their next series. Don't know the opponent yet as we're recording this at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So we will know, hopefully, as we get closer, we'll know more who they're going to play. But I think Cagnoni, he's been an absolute monster and should continue to do so. And I think Portland has a really good chance to go really far in the playoffs, as that is a well-oiled machine. They've got top end scoring, they have depth scoring, they have Cagnoni right now, they have the goaltending. That team is really good, and I think they're going to be right there at the end in the WHL finals. So we'll see who they play. But good start to the playoffs for Luca Cagnoni. I don't expect this multiple points a night to continue, especially as the competition continues to ramp up. But if he continues to play the way he's playing right now, again, ELC win at San Jose Sharks. So moving to the OHL, I don't know which one's more west, Sudbury or London. Sorry. So we'll just start with Sudbury because I have Quentin Musty's thing pulled up. So Musty, he in 5 games, he had 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points with 1 power play goal. And I know people are going to be like, he only had 1 goal, like a little weird. He was still doing Quentin Musty things and just ran into some bad luck. He had 18 shots on goal in this 5 games. So quick math, that puts you at 3.6 shots per game. In the regular season, he was at 3.9 shots per game. So right there where he has kind of been all season long. Again, he got one in the 5th game. And he had plenty of opportunities, just kind of got unlucky. So I expect we're going to have that like Musty explosion here where it's like, oh, Musty's got like 2 goals, or Musty's got like 5 goals in 3 games type of performance that we have seen out of him. He's too good to be held down for this long. And I think hopefully seeing that one go in the back of the net is going to really, I think, turn into, hopefully get things going for him. So yeah, their next series, trying to pull this up right now. Their schedule, don't know when their next series is going to start, as they are kind of looking at kind of also in the waiting game here for their next opponent. So do they have the bracket? Man, I wish they had the little cool bracket. So, but anyway, yeah, I think Musty, though, again, I know people are going to be like, he only scored 1 goal. Again, I watched, good chunks of the playoffs of his playoff series, and he looked just fine, just wasn't able to kind of finish things off. And again, like, that's going to happen, right? Goal scorers are going to go through that type of series, like that stuff's going to happen, unfortunately. So yeah, not worried about him. Again, I expect him this next series. I guess Sudbury is more east than London, which is west. So, but anyway, we don't know who's going to be playing, who they're going to be playing next. So, all right. And that leaves one, Kasper Halttunen. So Halttunen in London's sweep had in 4 games, he had 3 goals and an assist, and so 4 points in his 4 games. That puts him at a nice even points per game. 14 shots on goal, 1 power play goal. So 2 of his goals, even strength. But again, we kind of know with Halttunen where he's a very high end secondary scoring rate. He plays on the 3rd line, but he does a lot of his damage on the power play, and he continues to do so, right? And again, London is a very good team that has got a lot of scoring. You got like Denver Barkey, like they have a lot of top end talent. Easton Cohen, like that team is very good, and Kasper Halttunen kind of fills his role of being a sharpshooter on the power play, which he's very good at. Don't get me wrong, he's very good at that, and seeing him get some more 5-on-5 scoring, I think is nice to see out of him, especially given the role that he's kind of playing as that 3rd line, 3rd line forward. Sometimes if a guy's out, he'll bump up to the 2nd line, but London is an absolute machine, and they're just going to continue to roll people as they did in this series. That last game was a little dicey, and they did have to kind of work for it there. And even the goal, like the game-winning goal, was really controversial. There was an offside. It looked like it was offsides to me if you didn't watch it. It was one of those where the puck came out of the zones and it kind of popped back in, but they didn't really good camera angle on it. And since they didn't have a good camera angle and they called it a good goal, didn't have enough to overturn it. But so London continues to kind of do London things. But yeah, I think Halttunen's got a chance to play hockey for a long time this spring. So that's going to do it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow to do some fun stuff. We'll come up with a good episode idea. Plus, we got more draft profile coming. Another one scheduled to be on Thursday. So make sure you guys are following along for that. If you missed last week, we did a big one. Not going to celebrating. You may want to go check that out. So, so make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Until tomorrow, bye, friends.